Now, if we go to Mars and we find bacteria-like organisms alongside simpler organisms that sort of exemplify an evolutionary history prior to bacteria, that'd be strong proof that the life on Earth evolved on Mars and then was transferred here.
In the book, you allude to the transfer of life between Mars and Earth.
Yeah.
Is it possible that life on Earth was seeded from Mars?
Yeah, it is. It's unclear. Okay, look, a big mystery about life on Earth is that we don't see any examples of free living organisms more primitive than bacteria. And as primitive as they may seem to be, bacteria are actually very complex, very advanced things. And it's inconceivable that they were the first life. Okay? Just as it's inconceivable that this was the first machine. Okay? Before this came along, there were laptop computers and desktop computers and also, of course, telephones. And before that, there was glass and steel and lots of stuff, many inventions going back a long, long way before you got to this. Okay? And so bacteria really have the look of something that are immigrants. Okay? Now, could they have come from Mars? Yes. Could they have come from outside of both Earth and Mars? Yes. Could they have come from Earth and they wiped out their more primitive ancestors? Yes. But that would be unusual because the pattern we see in nature of simpler forms in general persist alongside the more advanced forms. Okay? We may be descendant from animals that are like rodents, but they're still around, and in fact, they outnumber us. And they may be descended from fish, but the fish are still very much there. And fish may be descended from worms, but the worms are still there. And so it would be counterintuitive to argue that the bacteria don't appear to have ancestors on Earth because they wiped them out. Now, if we go to Mars and we find bacteria-like organisms alongside simpler organisms that sort of exemplify an evolutionary history prior to bacteria, that'd be strong proof that the life on Earth evolved on Mars and then was transferred here. Just like, look, you don't find any examples of genuine Western civilization buildings in the Americas more primitive than those from the Renaissance, because those were the first Europeans to come here. In other words, we don't find any Bronze Age buildings in the Americas. Okay, you find them in Europe because that's where Western civilization developed. Okay, if we could find the earlier stages of bacterial evolution on Mars, then that would show they came from there. Now, on the other hand, if we find no life on Mars, or if we find life on Mars, but it also starts with bacteria and nothing more primitive, that would suggest that both Earth and Mars were seeded from the outside.